Hey guys, Nate Tice here from Football 301. Got a very fun breakdown for you today. Rams offense, a team and an offense that I seem to focus on every year because what Sean McVay does is so interesting. Mr. 11 personnel has now shifted his offensive attack to using more tight ends, using 13 personnel, which is one running back, three tight ends. And the Rams use a litany of tight ends, four tight ends actually, to get this stuff going. Last week against the 49ers, they had a very cool three-play sequence that led to a touchdown, all out of 13 personnel. And we're going to see exactly why this makes it so hard on defenses to defend, because it's really good stuff. So we're going to start on the first play here. And I want you to focus on exactly these formations that the Rams are using out of the 13 personnel, the three tight end looks. And that is wing formations. So you're going to have a Y tight end, an F tight end. F is the adjuster. So that could be the slot receiver. That could be the fullback. But here it is the second tight end. And then we're going to have the third tight end, Terrence Ferguson, as what they call the Z. And that tight end right here is going to move across the formation into the slot. Now, the 49ers, they're a 4-3 base defense. And that's why these three tight end looks are so cool, is they're daring defenses to pick their personnel, pick their poison. Do we put nickel out there with 5 defensive backs? Maybe be more susceptible to run plays? Do we put 3 linebackers out there just to hold up against the run, but make us more susceptible to pass plays? It is a pick your poison, and the Rams are doing that on purpose. When you go against a 49ers team like this without Fred Warner, getting into their depth, not a lot of teams have 2 valid linebackers, much less 3 valid linebackers, which we'll see right here for the 49ers and the Rams. So motioning Terrence Ferguson across the formation, the 49ers are going to be in their 4-3 front. And when you're in that 4-3 front, it's kind of you get to declare as well. We got the corner over the tight ends over here. We got one deep safety. When we have the other safety walked up to the line of scrimmage, he is going to blitz, and Kyron Williams does a great job in protection against that blitz. But the route by Ferguson, and this is a classic play action concept, or play off a classic play action concept. That play action concept is sail, which is going to be a deep post by the lone receiver. Terrence Ferguson is going to sell a sail route. A sail route is a deep corner route from the slot. So he's going to sell that sail route, and then he's going to wheel up the sideline. And he is taking advantage of this backup linebacker that the 49ers, they're only putting him in space because of this blitz that the 49ers are bringing. And they have their Sam, their Mike, and then now this Will linebacker, Will meaning weak side linebacker away from the tight ends. If you just want to get into the how the nomenclature for all of this. So that Will linebacker is going to be in space against Terrence Ferguson, a very good athlete. And sure enough, the Rams run a play action concept. Plenty of protection here. Huge pocket for Matthew Stafford to operate out of. And also notice the 2 extra tight ends, the 2 other tight ends, I should say, outside of Ferguson, Colby Parkinson and Davis Allen, they get to double team this defensive end. So when you get these wing formations, which we'll see throughout this drive, that is also just a nice little part of it. The tight ends that might not be able to hold up one-on-one can hold up 2-on-1 against these good athletes that play defensive end. So we get the sail wheel concept, big play to Terrence Ferguson, get to see his speed, get a linebacker in isolation, and now you got the 49ers reeling after this big play for the Rams. All right, and now we get to the next play, and again, we see a wing formation. You got the Y, you got the F, and then you got, technically this would be the Z. He's going to be opposite of that wing set. I say wing, it's wing, hip, any way you want to put it. It's a classic formation, and we're seeing a little bit more of it in the NFL this year because of so many tight end looks and because of how defenses are playing with some of these soft boxes. So we're going to get the X receiver, which is the lone receiver on the opposite side. And with the Y and the F over here, this time it's Tyler Higbee is going to be the third tight end along with Parkinson and Allen. He's going to motion at the snap. And what the Rams are trying to sell here is their outside zone run concept, which they hit over and over throughout this season, and really since Sean McVay has been there in 2017. So they're going to sell that outside zone play and get all of this flow from, again, a base defense, a 4-3 defense from the 49ers. And just by math, just by physics, linebackers generally slower than defensive backs. So when you see this fake that the Rams do, the 49ers linebackers, here we go, the Will, the Mike, and the Sam here, all flow heavy with that fake toss action by Stafford. So again, they're going to do the fake toss, get everybody flowing with the motion over there, and the motion and the action, and then they're going to boot back. And this is a true naked bootleg. There is no flat controller to hold this defensive end who's going to rush upfield. He takes the cheese of the fake toss So we're going to get Parkinson working right across against that flow. We're going to get Tyler Higbee here, who is the wing tight end, moving over to the top of him. And then right here on the opposite side is Davis Allen, is going to work across and then help out with the protection over there. And again, you're just taking advantage of the flow, taking advantage of the body types and this is what that 13 personnel does. The 49ers have to honor the run play here. And so right after they just got hit with a big play, all right, here comes the run, right? Here comes the heavy action from the tight ends moving across. Here comes the toss outside zone. Nope, actually we're running a naked bootleg across the entire defense. And again, hitting for a nice big gain for the Rams offense. Now, the coup de grace of this is, again, I just mentioned outside zone. I mentioned faking outside zone for the Rams. That's always going to be something that they build their entire offensive off of. And again, on the third play, again, these are 3 plays in a row for the Rams. They're going to get into a wing formation, a hip formation. This one is an extended hip formation. You're going to have the Y tight end right there. You're going to have the second tight end, the F, right next to him. And then you're going to have that Z again right next to him, the third tight end, to create this extended line of scrimmage. That's exactly what the Rams are doing. They're trying to widen the entire defense, trying to stretch them out, especially when you get into the red zone where verticality and depth doesn't matter as much. Stretching them horizontally is a way to run against them and even throw against them. And to top it all off, the Rams also have their X wide receiver split extremely tight next to the right tackle. And what that does is it widens the linebacker here that's going to be on the line of scrimmage. So you're going to get that will linebacker now on the line of scrimmage right here. Get the defensive end. You get the nose tackle right here. You get the defensive tackle right here. And then you get the other defensive end all the way out here outside the second tight end and between the third tight end. So you can already see that spacing that's happening because of this formation. And now you got the bumped over other linebackers for the 49ers. You got the Mike right here, the Sam right here. And because the 49ers like to base their defense out of quarters of a 2-high shell, even here in the red zone, you get not a lot of bodies on the line of scrimmage here. See a lot of bodies for the Rams offense, not a lot of bodies for the 49ers defense. They're going to walk their corner over right here because the receiver's right there. But when this outside zone hits, when Stafford goes to hand us off the outside zone to Kyren Williams, you get easy zone blocks. I mean, you get the double team, the center's uncovered. He can climb all the way up to the linebacker right here. You get the left guard going right here, that tackle slants across, so it's even easier for him. You got the the Y tight end, who is technically usually the better blocker, and the left tackle able to just collision this defensive end and climb. Really, you have the Z, who's just going to go out here and block a corner. That's an obvious mismatch, tight end on a cornerback. And then, so you got all the double teams happening. You got a cutoff here, right here. And then you just got a little body type right here, the X receiver just getting in the way of that outside linebacker. So you get the double teams, you get the climb. And because of that 2-high shell near the red zone, those safeties are 10 yards back. Their feet are in the end zone. So when this run play, Kyren Williams is untouched until about the 2-3 yard line. Untouched, forward momentum. These safeties, who are both good tacklers, Malcolm Mustafa and Jair Brown, they still have to wait to get on because Kyren Williams is right into their lap. So Kyren Williams lowers his shoulder, easy touchdown on outside zone concept for the Rams. So this is not just a gimmick for this Rams offense. This is something they fully lean into. Last week, about half their plays came out 13 personnel. And a huge matchup this week against the Seahawks, this is something they will likely lean into. It's something they did last year, something I'll talk about on Football 301 this week, but it's going to be a very good matchup. This is an awesome Rams offense that can pivot between their 2 talented receivers, Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, get to 11 personnel with 3 receivers, but they also can do these heavy tight end looks and get to a multitude of different offensive attacks. Really cool stuff from the Rams and Sean McVay as they are roaring with another top 5 offense this year, and an offense that looks like it'll sustain this productivity as the weeks go along.